in Joplin.
Stream KOAM News now on the TV app, available for iOS and Android.
Right now at 6, fewer than half of American adults read a book last year. Local literacy experts explain why this trend affects entire communities.
And take a look at this sunrise this morning. It looks fantastic. It's going to be a little hotter today, though. We'll take a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, Newton County voters decide on a new online sales tax. How Prop A could change what you pay for out-of-state purchases.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday. It is August the 5th.
Yes.
And it hasn't felt like August the last few days. You know, we got pretty lucky. We got a nice, much-needed break from all that heat out there. And unfortunately, it's going to return. But
Yes.
at least on the good side of that is it's not going to last 2 or 3 weeks like it did last time. It only lasts a couple of 3 days. But still, 2 or 3 days of 100-degree heat.
Makes a difference.
It makes it feel like it's going to be 2 weeks'
Oof.
time sometimes. Let's start with what we are tracking as we head into the afternoon. Our temperatures, as I mentioned, are going to start heating up, with us being near average today. And then the dangerous heat, at least that potential for dangerous heat, begins tomorrow as our temperatures do begin to climb across the area. And then we get the relief. That's why this isn't going to last as long. We have an approaching cold front into the weekend. Now, remember, it's August, it's summer, it's a cold front in the summer. It's not like we're going to go from 100 degrees to 60 degrees during the day, but it will bring our temperatures back down as we head into the weekend and next week. Live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Another beautiful view of the sunrise, and as you can see, the skies are quite clear this morning. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. Looking back to the south, not only are the skies clear, but at least for the time being, the roads are clear as well. Of course, like I've said before, it won't last out there. I don't know where everybody, okay, I'm kidding. I've lived here forever. I know where everybody comes from. It just always amazes me how quickly those streets in Joplin fill up during the daytime hours. Our future track is kind of bleak out there. There's nothing. Could get a stray cloud or two. That's really about it. Yesterday, we did show you an opportunity for maybe an isolated shower in our northern counties. That's gone. The pop-up storm chances that we were looking at tomorrow morning and again by the afternoon into southeast Kansas, that's gone too. But something I want to remind you of with our pop-up storm chances, there's not a specific trigger. There's not a cold front. There's not some kind of boundary, a low pressure. So there's not something specific triggering storms. They just happen. So even though they have disappeared this morning, that's not to say they won't reappear even by our noon newscast, because it's all going to be about the dynamics and whether or not the atmosphere will support pop-up storms. And right now, the new updates for the next 48 hours suggest that we won't be able to support pop-up storms, but it could change again. 65 in Joplin right now, 65 also in Pittsburgh. Temperatures this morning are cool. Look at Fort Scott now down to 60. You know, before we start warming back up, Fort Scott, you could drop into the upper 50s. Now, you still may not be at record low levels, but that is cold for August, the first week of August. Not that it's a bad thing, but 60 degrees to start the day. Man, that's pretty comfortable out there. However, today, we do start heating up. So we're talking mid-70s by 9, mid-80s by noon. Highs today, again, low 90s. Average high is 91. So we're headed right where we should be for this time of year. We could get heat index values up to about 95 degrees or so for some of us. So just stay hydrated. And, of course, with plentiful sunshine, you want to also, if you're outside, just make sure you're taking precautions in the sun. Winds will be calm, or maybe you get a light and variable breeze, but nothing really to crow about on that wind. And again, just hot. Temperatures continue to climb over the next few days. Then we get that cold front. We get some other rain chances. We're going to go over all of that with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a surprising shift in America's reading habit concerns some local experts. A new study from the National Endowment for the Arts reveals less than half of American adults picked up a book last year. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, NALA Adult Literacy in Joplin says turning the page isn't just good for your own growth, it can uplift those around you.
Off my phone, maybe some audio books.
Elijah said it's from Joplin. He says reading is on his mind just
Not every day. Not every day.
Not every day is what a lot of Americans are doing, with less than half reporting they haven't read a book last year, according to the National Endowment for the Arts.
It's a day if you can do 30 minutes just reading on your phone, probably.
Kamara Ketch is the program coordinator for Joplin Nyla Read. She says those 30 minutes of reading are so important for adults.
Helps maintain your long-form comprehension skills to be able to read even just a 200-page novel and to keep your attention on it, to understand what's happening throughout the book is just a great cognitive skill to be able to have.
Student Eden Pagan says reading is in her blood.
I've always had a shelf in my bedroom right beside my bed.
Ketch says having a shelf by the bed isn't a bad idea. She says adult reading level can really affect a child's life for years.
Studies have shown that a woman's reading level, the mother of a child, is the most important factor that will predict the success of a child.
There's just one type of reading she will not accept.
Now, I wouldn't say that I would necessarily count social media for that because people aren't writing long paragraphs. You know, that's more entertainment reading.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
NALA offers free books to anyone in the community who wants to start improving their reading skills. And voters in Missouri and some in Kansas head to the polls today to decide special elections. In Newton County, voters face Proposition A, a proposal to introduce a local use tax. KOAM Samantha Walker has more on what a use tax is, as well as how the county would hope to use the funds.
If passed, Newton County's Proposition A would allow the county to collect sales tax on online purchases from out-of-state vendors at the same rate as the total local sales tax. In Newton County, that rate is 1.63%. If that local sales tax is repealed, raised, or reduced, the use tax would follow.
The difference is when you purchase something in the county from a vendor that has a Missouri presence, you're paying a sales tax. Whenever you're making a purchase from a vendor that has an out-of-state presence, you're not paying any kind of tax on that at all. And so you'll never pay both a use tax and a sales tax at the same time. It will be an either or.
The funds from the tax would be used to help fund retirement and benefits for Newton County Sheriff's deputies and other county employees by placing them in a state logger's pension plan.
Newton County is currently not a part of that program. There are several communities in our surrounding area that do have loggers, and we're hoping to be able to offer that to our employees to make sure we can stay competitive with those other agencies.
Local law enforcement says improving their benefits would help with recruitment and retention, something they say is needed as they see higher turnover numbers.
We're seeing a huge need for that in our recruitment and especially in our retention. Whenever we're competing against other agencies to hire the best employees that we can, we want to make sure that we're offering the best benefits that we're able to.
Voters in Neosho won't just be asked about the Newton County use tax, but also a city use tax proposition. Currently, Neosho's local sales tax is 3%. Neosho voters rejected a use tax in April of this year, where revenue was to be used to build a new aquatic center. This time, use tax revenue would be used towards improving salaries and benefits for city first responders, as well as road and bridge improvements. The ballot language for both proposition questions call the use tax a, quote, attempt to eliminate the unfair advantage enjoyed by out-of-state vendors over local vendors. Reporting in Newton County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The state of Missouri already charges a use tax on purchases at the same rate as the state sales tax. And Joplin residents, including those in Newton County, pay a city use tax on online purchases. You can learn more about when and where to vote on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. Well, a beloved longtime Joplin public servant passes away. J.D. Love joined the Joplin Police Department in 1965. He went on to serve the force for nearly 30 years before retiring in the early 90s. Love also served for a time as Jasper County coroner. Just last year, the city of Joplin renamed a 3-block stretch of McKee Avenue in Love's honor, J.D. Love Way. Love, 86 at the time, attended the council meeting in which the vote to rename this street in his honor passed unanimously with a standing ovation. This is file footage of that event. One former Joplin mayor called Love, quote, a true legend, and a former Joplin police officer called him a genuine peacemaker. J.D. Love was 88 years old. A small community in southwest Missouri recovers from the news of a fatal crash over the weekend. Authorities responded to reports of the crash around 10:30 Friday evening on County Road 260 just outside of Asbury. Troopers discovered a UTV had left the roadway, overturned, and ejected the driver. The man was pronounced dead just after 11 at an area hospital. And that's a look at this morning's top stories coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Texas governor orders arrest of Democratic lawmakers who fled the state. Republicans push forward with congressional redistricting plans. Plus, Spike Lee and Denzel Washington reunite for Highest to Lowest. Their fifth collaboration hits theaters August 15th. And more heat is on the way. Chris takes another look at your weather. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now 6:10. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Ottawa County Fair in Miami, Oklahoma. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, dozens of Texas Democrats are still hunkering down in states like Illinois, Massachusetts, and New York, despite Governor Greg Abbott's orders to have them arrested. The Democratic state lawmakers fled over the weekend to block a vote on redrawn congressional maps that would allow Texas Republicans to pick up more seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. CBS News' Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
There will be consequences.
After more than 50 Democratic lawmakers fled Texas, the state's governor, Greg Abbott, now says he's ordered state police to arrest them, and he has directed Texas Rangers to open an investigation, claiming some of them may have accepted bribes to leave. This after the absent Democrats broke quorum, slamming the brakes on GOP-led efforts backed by President Trump to redraw the state's congressional maps in order to pick up 5 congressional seats.
You don't get to change the rules and say, I'm going to redraw these districts because I want to make sure that I stay in power.
Texas Republican lawmakers say the tactic will delay but not derail their work.
Whether it's tomorrow or next week, the House will complete its required duties.
The Texas House also approved civil arrest warrants for the dozens of Democrats who fled, though Texas law enforcement do not have jurisdiction outside of the state to force their return. Meanwhile, some Democratic governors, like California's Gavin Newsom, say they're working to redraw their state's maps should Texas follow through.
We're going to fight fire with fire.
The slowdown in the Texas legislature has also stalled relief bills for communities hit hard by last month's deadly floods.
It don't matter if they're Democrat or Republican. Come together.
Flood victims are urging lawmakers to put people before party politics. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The current Texas special legislative session is slated to end in 2 weeks. And still to come, nearly 1 in 3 internationally adopted children have no health insurance. University of Maryland study reveals major coverage gaps. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your 10-day forecast. We'll be right back. A legendary Hollywood reunion and a tour that's ready to make waves. Nick Zajovic has those stories and more in your Eye on Entertainment.
I know what it is to risk everything you have for something that you want.
2 Hollywood legends are back at it. Director Spike Lee and Denzel Washington are reuniting in Highest to Lowest, their 5th filmmaking collaboration. When a titan music mogul is caught in a dangerous ransom plot, he's forced into a life or death moral dilemma.
Oh, you want to do this? I got into this by myself. I'm going to get out of it by myself.
Highest to Lowest hits theaters August 15th.
All kids like to draw.
Yeah, but has she always been so
dark?
The chilling new thriller Sketch is sure to draw you in. The film follows a young girl whose grief spills onto the pages of her sketchbook following the loss of her mother. But when those drawings end up in a strange pond, they take on a life of their own.
The story is so grounded and authentic, and that mixed with this like supernatural weirdness that comes into the world, it's like the perfect excitement.
As the nightmare spreads, the girl and her brother must erase the damage before it becomes permanent. Sketch comes to life on the big screen tomorrow. And after much anticipation, Doechii is making a splash on the road. The rapper has officially announced her Live from the Swamp tour. Live Nation is producing the 12-city North American headline run. It kicks off October 14th in Chicago before hitting major cities across the country. Fans can expect a high-energy set list and plenty of the bold, genre-bending style that's made Doechii one of music's fastest rising stars. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Nick Zechovich, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Let's head over now to Chris with a quick look at today's forecast.
Out there, skies are clear this morning. However, it is going to start to heat up. A little seasonable today, so not too crazy hot, but temperatures really start to climb toward the end of the week. A full look at your forecast when we come back. Time now is 6:20. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:22 now on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start with heat index values because they will start to climb as we head through the next few days. Now today, our heat index values about 3 to 5 degrees above where the air temperature will be. In fact, that's really how it'll be through the week. The problem is our air temperature is going to continue to rise, so that'll continue to push those heat index values up. So by tomorrow, we're starting to see some upper 90s and maybe in that 100 to 105 degree range. As we roll into Thursday, you can see 100 to 105 degree heat index values, but that is because our highs for most of us looking to be 98, 99 degrees, maybe even 100. So the further west you are, of course, the hotter it's going to be. And by Friday, our highs could easily be at 100, perhaps a little warmer than that. And so our heat index values, again, while they're not going to be much above the air temperature, they will still be up there. And we are at that point now where we could be getting back into the potential for dangerous heat, especially for kids, the elderly, and of course, your pets. And those with certain medical conditions, this is where we could see problems. So if you know you're susceptible to the heat, do your best to stay indoors. Don't go out unless you have to. And those of you who do have to be outdoors, just make sure you're taking precautions, that you're keeping yourself hydrated and avoiding the sunshine as much as you can. Because the other thing we're going to face is a lot of clear skies between here and there. So there's going to be plentiful sunshine. So you got to make sure you're taking care of your skin out there as well. A live look, 7th and range line looking back toward roughly the northeast. And we got the sun coming up. It looking pretty good. The skies are clear and they will remain that way. Near 70 to start, so we've got a cool start. In fact, Fort Scott's come down to like 60 degrees this morning, so a bit of a chilly start by August standards out there, but we're going to warm up. Low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today hot, but seasonably hot. Right around 91, and 91's about our average high for this time of year. So, again, not crazy hot today, but definitely hotter than where we have been the last few days. That'll keep us mild through the evening and overnight. Back into the upper 70s, near 80 by 10. Tonight's lows, warmer than where we have been, but seasonably warm. This is our most seasonable day, at least of this week, as we go back into the low 70s tonight with clear skies. That's where we should be. Then we head into the weekend. We've got an approaching low pressure system, cold front tied to that. It's a summertime cold front. It's like what we saw last time. We're not going to plummet with our temperatures by any means, but we will cool back to near average as we roll into next week. By Saturday, we start to see some isolated shower and thunderstorm chances across the region. Again, they'll be isolated. They'll be in the first half of the day. By the afternoon, evening, they start to wind down. Still going to be pretty darn hot on Saturday, but as that boundary approaches heading into Sunday, we get a few more isolated storms. And again, Sunday, they still look to be somewhat isolated, though we could get a couple more than what we see on Saturday. But once again, by the afternoon and evening, they clear on out. But as that boundary is now getting closer, we start to cool back a bit by Sunday. And by Monday, here's that whole thing. Now, at this time, we do not have any severe risk areas highlighted. This is still pretty far out. Nothing highlighted at this point anywhere near our region over the next few days, including our rain chances Saturday and Sunday. If it changes, we'll certainly let you know. But we are just looking at a few more scattered storms. And not all of these are going to make it through the whole area. But the good news is the cooler, still hot, but more seasonable temperatures will make it through the area as we head into Sunday and Monday. So here, low 90s, mid 90s tomorrow, upper 90s near 100 Thursday, 100 Friday, maybe up to 102, 103 degrees out there. Still hot Saturday, but then by Sunday, our temperatures start to come back down to average, so still hot, but seasonably so as we go back in the low 90s. I also put our lows back at slightly more normal levels as well, back into the low 70s. So this heat wave not going to last as long as the last one did, but we still got to get through 2 or 3 days of this uncomfortable heat. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, thanks. Well, many adopted children in the U.S. are growing up with no health insurance. A study by the University of Maryland found big disparities in health insurance access based on how children were adopted and the legal status of their parents. Nearly 1 in 3 children adopted internationally by non-citizens have no health insurance, and 7% of children living with relatives besides their biological parents have no health insurance. And simply switching from ultra-processed foods to minimally processed foods could double your weight loss. University College London researchers asked 2 groups of people to diet, giving one group processed food meals and the other food that had been minimally processed. Even though the meals were nutritionally similar, the minimally processed group lost twice as much weight as the people who ate more ultra-processed food. And if you're having trouble getting some work done, the answer may be to sleep on it. A study by Harvard Medical School measured brain activity of people doing a typing assignment. Now, they found after a nap, brain activity improved and people performed better on tasks. Researchers say rhythmic brain activity during sleep helps improve both learning and memory. Excuse me. Well, animal surrenders have spiked recently at shelters across the country, and it's partially due to rising costs associated with owning a pet. Jen Sullivan has some tips on lowering those pet care costs.
At the animal care centers of NYC in Manhattan, crates line the hallways as the shelter is overcrowded with animals who desperately need a home.
We'd never turn away an animal.
Katie Hansen, the shelter's director of marketing and communication, says they're able to handle about 500 animals, but right now they have over 1,000. Some are able to stay with foster families.
It's been really tough.
She says shelters in the area have been inundated with animals as pet owners say they simply can't afford their pets.
This is really an affordability crisis.
The overcrowding is a crisis happening at shelters around the country, many posting about it on social media, hoping to help animals find a forever home. The high cost of vet bills is also burdening pet owners. The American Veterinary Medical Association says the rising cost of medical supplies, utilities, and pharmaceuticals is causing vets to charge more. But there are things pet owners can do to lower care costs.
If you start them on pet health insurance when they're young and you carry it through their life, that pet health insurance will help you if a catastrophic event happens.
Dr. Michael Bailey says car accidents and swallowing something they shouldn't have eaten are 2 of the biggest reasons for vet emergency visits. He says make sure your dog is always harnessed in the car. And keeping up with vaccines and preventative medication like heartworm can help their health in the long run.
Once they get it, it can not only be long and expensive, but it can shorten their life.
Ask your vet about payment options, and there are financial assistance programs out there. You can find information about it on the AVMA's website.
Well, many shelters are offering special deals and discounted adoption fees right now to help animals find homes. Make sure and check out area shelters for details. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, honoring impact. Joplin's mayor celebrates leaders from area colleges and universities.
And we're going to start to heat up today out there. Clear skies to start our day. Looks nice as the sun rises. Well, look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, the Leadership Joplin Class of 2025 unveils a new downtown mural. Their community service project brings art to the city.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:33. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, August the 5th, and it's going to start to heat up across the area.
Right, yes.
Seasonably hot today, but then we could see some dangerous heat a little later. And unfortunately, Mother Nature scamming us a bit on our rain chances.
It looks like it.
Because we had some pop-up storm chances, and they aren't showing up anymore. We'll get to all of that in just a moment. And first, though, we're going to tell you about what we're tracking over the next couple of days. Our temperatures, as I mentioned, begin heating up, and they'll be near average for us out there for today. And then that dangerous heat is possible starting as early as tomorrow, which we'll break down for you. And, of course, some good news. This heat wave not going to last as long as the last one did. All right, it's not going to last 2.5 weeks, or how I feel like that last one, it felt like it lasted like 2 months, but still not going to last as long. We got some storm chances as we head into the upcoming weekend. Live look downtown Pittsburgh, looking back toward the sunrise. Looks wonderful this morning. And it's a bit on the cool side out there as well for some of us. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, looking back to the south, looking good as well. And here in the next about 10 minutes or so, there will suddenly be just all of those cars that will appear almost out of thin air, it seems sometimes. Future track, it's not much to show you, really. Could get a cloud or two, maybe. Otherwise, we're looking at clear skies. And you remember yesterday, we had some slight rain chances in our far northern counties later this evening. They are gone. They are not there. And our pop-up storm chances tomorrow morning into the afternoon, southeast Kansas, also now gone from Future Track. But because they're pop-up storms, it's the whole nature of the thing. Future Track, all of these computer models pull in data from the atmosphere and say, okay, you know, maybe you could get some pop-up storms. And sometimes when they reanalyze that data, because these update hourly, they go, oh, well, maybe it's not looking as good. Because again, with pop-up storms, there's not a specific trigger for them, so it's hard for the computers to pick up on whether or not they'll happen. They just kind of read the data, they analyze it themselves. We look at the data and they go, okay, maybe not, and now we're back to maybe not. So if it changes, obviously we'll let you know, but we're not looking very likely for rain chances over the next couple of days. 65, both Joplin and Pittsburgh this morning. Take a look at some of these temperatures. Look at Fort Scott, 60 degrees. You are almost down to 59. Now, record lows for many of us for this time of year are back into the low 50s, so we're probably not at that point, but man, that is chilly. You don't need to double check your calendar. I assure you, it really is August the 4th, not October the 4th. It's August the 4th, but boy, what a nice start to the day. However, again, it does start to heat back up. Mid-70s by 9, mid-80s by noon. Highs today, hot but seasonably so. Low 90s, and that's right where we're supposed to be for this time of year. However, today is the only seasonable day we have over the next few days as temperatures continue to climb ahead of those weekend rain chances, and we'll go over all of that with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. So the Joplin City Council celebrates the powerful role 6 local colleges play in the local community. Leaders from Pittsburgh State, Missouri Southern, Kansas City University, Crowder College, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, and Ozark Christian College joined Mayor Keenan Cortez as he proclaimed their impact.
Many of the teachers that are here, business leaders, entrepreneurs, they're Missouri Southern graduates, and it's part of the fabric that we have within the community. Yeah, I think all the institutions recognized this evening share a goal of providing great opportunities in higher education, so we share that.
Mayor Cortez says the schools support 2,680 jobs, invest $126 million in campus projects, and educate more than 21,000 students who contribute to the local economy. And the Leadership Joplin class of 2025 has unveiled a new mural in the city's downtown. Leadership Joplin is a program developed by the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce, which hopes to help motivate future community leaders. The mural project was commissioned as part of the group's community service project and has been completed by local artists Derek Weiberg and Austin Clay. But artists of all skill levels were able to help leave their mark by contributing brushstrokes to the mural on Color the Community Day back in May.
Members of the community actually got to come out and paint their mark on the mural. So on some of our plants, on some of the bottom parts of the mural, people of all ages came out and celebrated with us together. So everyone got to leave their mark, so to speak, on the mural.
The mural is located on the east wall of 629 South Main Street in Joplin. More than 30 different local businesses and individuals donated to help bring the mural to life. And that's a look at our top news stories this half hour. Coming up, more heat returns. Chris takes another look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now 6:38. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look at the Ottawa County Fair happening in Miami, Oklahoma. Well, in Consumer Watch, one Federal Reserve official tells CBS News that shoppers should brace for price increases, with businesses expected to pass on the cost of the Trump administration's tariffs. Companies like Procter & Gamble have already announced price hikes due to tariffs. A new poll from the Associated Press and the NORC Center for Public Affairs Research found that 53% of Americans say grocery prices are a major source of stress right now. Well, President Trump is praising American Eagle Outfitters' controversial jeans commercial featuring actress Sydney Sweeney. On social media yesterday, the president said that it's, quote, its hottest ad out there. The company's stock jumped more than 23% afterwards. Well, one study shows the president's domestic agenda would add more than $4 trillion to the federal debt over the next decade when interest costs are factored in. That's according to a Congressional Budget Office analysis released yesterday. The legislation includes sweeping tax cuts, but according to the CBO, those savings are outweighed by the cost. Now, the increased borrowing will add nearly $720 billion in interest. And although the bill slashes spending on programs like Medicaid and SNAP, it still balloons the deficit by $3.4 trillion by 2034. The CBO also analyzed making the president's tax breaks permanent, including exemptions on tips, overtime, and car loan interest, which could push the total debt impact to $5 trillion. And Tesla says it will grant CEO Elon Musk $29 billion worth of shares. It comes 6 months after a judge revoked the company's $56 billion compensation package for Musk, which Tesla approved back in 2018. According to a regulatory filing, the $29 billion award would be forfeited and returned if the 2018 pay package is reinstated. Tesla shares have dipped 25% this year as the EV maker faces blowback from Musk's affiliation with President Trump. And that's a look at Consumer Watch this morning. Now to Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got an absolutely beautiful sunrise out there. We will be a little hotter today as temperatures climb back to normal levels. We'll have a complete look at your forecast, talk about some rain chances on the way as well when the KOAM Morning News returns. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, of course, all of that right after this. Time now, 6:43. Time now for some Tuesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to start in St. Paul with Emery K. Guard celebrating birthday number 4 with love from Grandma and Grandpa.
And heading over to Iola, happy 6th birthday today to Rowan Kinzel. It says, we love you, Mom, Dad, and River.
And in Pittsburgh, William Bishop celebrating birthday number 16. A very happy birthday to you, William.
And in Fredonia, a happy 28th birthday to Amy Cheyenne Goodman.
And in Jasper, Brandy Rush celebrating birthday number 44 today. Happy birthday.
Heading back over to Iola with a happy 54th birthday to Thelma Peterson. It says here, lots of love from your family and extended family.
And we have Dana Storm in Jasper celebrating birthday number 65 today. Very happy birthday to you, Dana.
And in Chanute, a happy 70th birthday to Stephen Riddle.
And in Joplin, Jenny Stalling celebrating birthday number 72 today. Happy birthday, Jenny.
And a happy 41st anniversary to Fred and Judy Reynolds.
And we've got Kathy Parrish, our neighbor in Crestline, celebrating a year wiser. We also have Bill Parrish in Crestline celebrating a year wiser as well. Now, there's not a specific note that explains the relation, but judging by those photos and how similar they look, I presume there's a connection here.
Yes.
I'm going to presume that there's a connection here. Well, if you would like to celebrate with us your birthday, your anniversary, we would love to celebrate with you. And Elise has some information for you.
Yes, we sure would. If you would like to submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com, be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to, of course, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen. It's important, and it's also important to please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Very important information there for you. And so we have the immeasurable and incredible Tim back in the back here. And I'm going to ask him a question. I didn't get a chance because I didn't notice this ahead of time, or I would have asked ahead of time. Can you hot punch Max 2 real quick, even if I'm not in front of it? He's going to check. There's something I just want to point out real quick because it's changed in the last update on our fog tracker. And so what it is I mentioned we had some patchy light fog out there, but now what we're looking at, and I just didn't have an opportunity to pull it into here. And if Tim, he can work some miracles, he can work magic very easily. But we now have some significantly reduced visibilities. He says he's got it. So yeah, go ahead and let's bring up. And you can see up around the Fort Scott area, we do have some very dense fog. Parts of 54 just west of Nevada into Fort Scott. Visibility is now under 1 mile. So I just wanted to bring that up real quick. That was a new update that came in. So if you are traveling on 54 or 69 heading into Bourbon County, just make sure you're prepared for that dense fog. Tim, thank you for working your magic. I knew you work all sorts of magic for us here. He's one of the many folks behind the scenes that put us on TV. I don't know why they do it for me. I don't know why they let me on TV sometimes, but they do. And again, Tim, thank you. And just a reminder on that fog. So here's our heat index values. We're going to talk about the temperatures too, because fog in August, it's weird. And we had it in July too, and it's just kind of odd. But our heat index values over the next few days looking to be 3 to 5 degrees on average warmer than the air temperatures. So they're not going to be significantly higher. The problem we're facing is our air temperature is also going to rise. So that will take that 5-degree gap and keep pushing it further out over the next couple of days. So today, not too bad. It's going to be hot, but seasonably so. Heat index value is not looking to be too crazy for most of us. But then we head into tomorrow. Now you can see we've got upper 90s into the triple digits for our feels like temperatures across the area. We roll into Thursday as our temperatures continue to climb. So do those heat index values. By Thursday, we're looking at highs 98 to maybe 100 degrees in some cases. So you add that 5 degrees to that on average. Some of us maybe a little more, but you can see where it puts those heat index values. So now we're getting to that point starting tomorrow where we could start seeing some dangerous heat, especially for the elderly, for kids, for your pets, and for those who are susceptible to the heat. Friday, one of our hottest days with highs on average about 100. Some of us may have highs 101, 102. You add 5 degrees to that, and you start getting these higher heat index values where we could see a few more of us at 105 to 110, similar to what we saw last week. So you got to make sure you're taking precautions. The other side of this is at least when we were hot the last time, we had some isolated pop-up storm chances. We had some partly cloudy skies, helped out a little bit. We're looking at nothing but blue skies over the next few days. I'd like to thank Irving Berlin for that one, but still, that means there's more sunshine. It means you got to take care of your skin as well. Those of you who have to work outside, you have to take a few extra precautions there as well. Some good news, though, on all of this heat is unlike the last heat wave we just went through. This one's not going to last nearly as long. All right, it's only going to be a few days before we start to cool back to average. So this morning, again, we showed you Fort Scott, for example. You're at 60 degrees, hence the fog up there, too. 60 degrees on August the 4th. 60 degrees to start the day. Be about 70 by 8. We're heading in the low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. You can see at sunrise we've got the clear skies. We'll hold on to clear skies. Could have a cloud or two out there. Again, seasonably hot as we go into the low 90s today. And we'll have seasonable temperatures tonight and through the evening. Clear skies near 80 by 10, but low 70s, so right where we should be. And as I mentioned, as we head into the weekend, we start to get initially isolated chances for some pop-up storms or some very isolated storms. By Sunday, still isolated, but a few more of those isolated storm chances all in the first half of the day. And then by Monday, we get a boundary pushing in. That could bring a few more scattered storms, at least for some of us, before those begin to clear out, and they'll bring our temperatures again back down to normal as we head into next week. We'll have another look at your forecast here in just a moment, as well as your wake-up recap. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., or, of course, if you just hang out with us here on KOAM+, see, it's going viral among Packers fans. It's the homegrown song that could soon echo through Lambeau Field.
Well, this is your wake-up recap for August 5th. Your top stories to start your day. A beloved figure in Joplin's history, J.D. Love, has passed away at age 88. Love dedicated nearly 30 years to the Joplin Police Department, starting in 1965, and also served as the Jasper County Coroner for some time. Just last year, Joplin honored him by renaming a portion of McGee Avenue to J.D. Love Way. Love attended the council meeting where this tribute was unanimously approved. Remembered as a true legend and a genuine peacemaker, his legacy continues to inspire. And a small community in southwest Missouri is mourning after a fatal crash late Friday night. Authorities responded to County Road 260 near Asbury around 10:30 p.m. where a UTV had overturned, ejecting the driver. The man was pronounced dead shortly after 11 p.m. at a local hospital. As the community begins to recover, authorities urge caution and safety on the roads. And Missouri and parts of Kansas head to the polls today for special elections. In Newton County, voters will decide on Proposition A, a local use tax proposal. If approved, it would impose sales tax on online purchases from out-of-state vendors, matching the local sales tax rate. The revenue would fund retirement and benefits for Newton County Sheriff's deputies and county employees, aiding recruitment and retention. That's a look at today's Wake Up Recap.
And just a quick reminder, some dense fog in Bourbon County, so 54, 69 up there. You want to make sure you're slowing down. Otherwise, clear skies this afternoon, hot but seasonably so. Near average temperatures in the low 90s, still into the upper 70s by 10. Clear skies overnight, temperatures once again near average as we go in the low 70s. Heating up, though, over the next few days as we climb into the upper 90s and even into the triple digits. So just make sure you're taking precautions, taking care of yourself out there. Rain chances this weekend, back to normal next week.
All right. And coming up today at noon, we're making Texas two-step ribs in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. This morning, 3-time Emmy Award-winning actor Julia Garner talks about her newest project, a horror film called Weapons. And the one and only Oprah will reveal the latest selection for her book club.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Charlene Patton joins us with a twist on a popular summer dish.
And we're going to hear from cast members from the Triple Threat Theatrics as they prepare for their upcoming performance of Legally Blonde, the musical. It's going to wrap it up for us for now. We're back tomorrow at 5.
And we'll see you today at noon.